She fed him dessert and fed me lies.
It's 2 in the morning and I'm standing in my shower, letting scalding water beat down on my shoulders while I run through firewall configurations in my head. That's when I hear the click of designer heels on bathroom tile. "Just checking if you're still alive in there, honey," Jessica calls through the glass door, her voice dripping with fake concern. I towel off and step out to find my wife of 8 years rifling through my wallet on the marble countertop. Her perfectly manicured fingers dance through the credit cards like she's playing piano. "Lose your morals in there?" I quip, running a hand through my wet hair. She laughs, that tinkling sound she perfected for her Instagram stories. "Very funny, David. I was looking for cash for the housekeeper." "Right, because our housekeeper takes payment at 2 a.m. Jessica glances at herself in the mirror, adjusting her silk nightgown. Even fresh from bed, she looks camera-ready. It's unsettling how she's always performing, even for an audience of one. "Found something interesting, though," she purrs, holding up a platinum card I've never seen before. "When did you get this?" I take it from her, examining it like I'm seeing it for the first time. Company gave it to me last week, some kind of executive perk. I shrug and toss it back in my wallet. Probably has a decent limit. Her eyes light up like a kid seeing Christmas presents. "How decent?" "I don't know. 50 grand maybe?" Jessica tries to hide her excitement, but I've been married to her long enough to recognize the signs. The way her breathing quickens, how she bites her lower lip. She's already spending that money in her head. "Well," she says, sliding up next to me, "maybe I could help you test it out. Make sure it works properly." I wrap my arms around her waist, playing the devoted husband. "Whatever makes you happy, babe." She kisses my cheek and practically skips back to bed. I watch her go, then look at myself in the mirror. 38 years old, reasonably fit from weekend basketball games, and apparently married to a woman who gets more excited about credit limits than physical intimacy. The next morning, I'm in my home office reviewing security protocols for Morrison Tech when my phone buzzes with a spending alert. $3,200 at Nordstrom. Then another. $1,800 at some boutique I've never heard of. By lunch, she's hit $8,000. I find Jessica in the kitchen, surrounded by designer shopping bags, looking like she's conquered a small country. "Successful morning?" I ask, pouring coffee. "You could say that." She holds up a purse that probably costs more than most people's rent. "I figured I'd treat myself. You work so hard, we should enjoy the benefits." "Absolutely, you deserve it." She studies my face, probably looking for signs of buyer's remorse or anger. When she finds neither, she relaxes. "Actually," she says, "Claudia mentioned this amazing spa retreat in Napa. Very exclusive. It would be perfect for recharging. Claudia Martinez, Jessica's best friend and personal enabler, a lawyer who specializes in making rich people's problems disappear." "Sounds expensive," I say mildly. "Well, with your new card?" She trails off, letting the implication hang. "How expensive?" "Maybe $15,000 for the full package." "But David, it's supposed to be life-changing. They have this incredible massage therapy program, and the accommodations are supposed to be absolutely divine." I pretend to consider it. "Life-changing, huh?" "Completely transformative. Claudia went last year and came back like a new person." "Then you should definitely go." "When?" "This weekend, if that's okay." I pull her close and kiss her forehead. "Whatever makes you happy, Jess, you know that." She squeals and starts making calls immediately. Within an hour, she's booked the retreat, first-class flights, and what she calls appropriate attire for the experience. The credit card takes another $12,000 hit. Friday morning, I drive her to the airport. She's practically vibrating with excitement, checking her phone constantly and taking selfies in the passenger seat. "You're going to miss me, right?" she asks as we pull up to departures. "Desperately," I lie. She kisses me goodbye, a quick peck that barely qualifies as affection, and disappears into the terminal with her Louis Vuitton luggage set. I sit in the parking garage for 20 minutes after she leaves, just thinking. 8 years of marriage, and I can't remember the last time she looked at me the way she looked at that credit card. When did I become just another resource to be managed? My phone buzzes. Derek Hoffman, my oldest friend and the only person who still calls me Dave instead of David. "Your wife just posted a story from first class with champagne and caviar. Living the dream, huh?" "Living something," I reply. "You sound thrilled." "I'm processing." "Want to grab a beer tonight?" "Sarah's got book club, so I'm free." Derek runs a repo business and has the kind of practical wisdom that comes from dealing with people at their worst moments. He's also one of the few people who knew me before I became successful, back when I was just a kid from the wrong side of town who happened to be good with computers. Yeah, let's do it. We meet at Murphy's, a dive bar that somehow survived the neighborhood's gentrification. Derek's already nursing a beer when I arrive, his weathered face creased with concern. "So what's eating you?" he asks without preamble. I tell him about the credit card, the spending spree, the sudden spa retreat. He listens without judgment, occasionally nodding. "How much we talking total?" he asks when I finish. "Close to 30 grand in 3 days. He whistles low. That's some serious retail therapy. The weird part is how excited she got. I haven't seen her that animated in years. Maybe she just needed to feel appreciated. Women like to be spoiled. Maybe. I take a long pull of beer. Or maybe she's testing how much she can get away with. Derek gives me a look I recognize from our high school days when he was trying to decide if I was being paranoid or perceptive. You think she's up to something? I think she's always up to something. Question is what? Over the weekend, I get sporadic texts from Jessica. Photos of spa treatments, gourmet meals, and scenic vineyard views. Everything looks perfect and expensive. She's clearly having the time of her life. Sunday evening, she calls from the airport. "David, this was exactly what I needed. I feel like a completely new person." "That's great, babe. I can't wait to hear all about it." The massage therapy was incredible. They have this technique where they really work deep into the muscle tissue. Very intense, but so worth it. Sounds therapeutic. Oh, it was. Very thorough. There's something in her voice, a satisfied purr that makes me uncomfortable, but I keep my tone light. "Well, I'm glad you're relaxed. Safe flight home. See you soon, honey." She arrives home Monday evening glowing with what she claims is the aftermath of professional pampering. Her skin does look amazing, and she seems more energetic than she's been in months. "You look fantastic," I tell her and mean it. "I feel fantastic. We should definitely make this an annual thing. Absolutely, whatever keeps you happy." That night, she's more affectionate than usual, but there's something performative about it, like she's trying to justify the expense by being the perfect wife for an evening. Tuesday morning, while she's in the shower, I do what I do best. I hack. Jessica's phone is connected to our home Wi-Fi, and she's never been particularly security conscious. It takes me about 20 minutes to access her text messages, photo gallery, and call logs. What I find makes my coffee taste like ash. The spa retreat was real, but Jessica wasn't alone. The photos she didn't post tell a different story. There's a man in several shots, always carefully cropped out of what she shared with me. Dark hair, expensive clothes, younger than me by at least a decade. But it's the text messages that really illuminate the situation. "Can't wait to see you again, beautiful. Last night was incredible. You're so much more exciting than I expected. Thank you for making this weekend unforgettable. Next time, let's skip the spa and go straight to the private suite." The messages are from someone named Rico Valdez. I run a quick background check using resources from work. Rico Valdez, 28, self-described entrepreneur and lifestyle consultant. His social media is full of luxury cars, expensive restaurants, and beautiful women. He looks like he stepped out of a cologne advertisement. I dig deeper. Rico's business address is a high-end car dealership in the city. His LinkedIn claims he's a luxury lifestyle curator and investment advisor. His Instagram has 50,000 followers and is full of motivational quotes about success and living your dreams. But the financial records I can access tell a different story. Rico's broke. His car dealership is hemorrhaging money, his credit is shot, and he's been evicted from 2 apartments in the past year. He's living off credit cards and the generosity of women who think he's successful. I sit back in my chair, staring at the evidence on my screen. My wife spent our money to have an affair with a broke gigolo who's pretending to be successful. The irony is so perfect, it's almost funny. Almost. Jessica comes home from her girls' lunch Tuesday afternoon carrying more shopping bags and humming to herself. She's been in an unusually good mood since the spa weekend, and now I know why. "How was lunch?" I ask from my office doorway. "Oh, you know how it is with Claudia. She always has the most interesting stories." I bet she does. Jessica disappears upstairs to try on her new purchases, and I return to my computer. I've been monitoring her communications all week, watching her relationship with Rico develop from weekend fling to full-blown affair. Their texts have gotten bolder and more explicit. Rico is playing the role of passionate lover perfectly, telling Jessica she's beautiful, exciting, and deserving of so much more than her boring husband. Jessica is eating it up, responding with increasingly intimate messages and photos. What's fascinating is how quickly she's transformed from dutiful wife to rebellious mistress. She's lying constantly now, inventing elaborate stories about shopping trips and spa appointments to cover her meetings with Rico. Thursday afternoon, she announces another girls' weekend. Where to this time? I ask, not looking up from my laptop. Claudia found this amazing boutique hotel in the city. Very exclusive, very private, perfect for decompressing. Sounds expensive. Well, I still have your card. I look at her then, really look at her. She's standing in the kitchen doorway wearing a new dress that probably cost more than my first car. Her hair and makeup perfect despite being home all day. She's beautiful, I can admit that. But there's something cold in her eyes, something calculating. Of course, I say, whatever makes you happy. She smiles and kisses my cheek. You're the best husband ever. Friday evening, I watch her pack for her weekend with Rico. She's chosen her most expensive lingerie, the jewelry I gave her for our anniversary, and enough designer outfits for a fashion shoot. She's putting real effort into this affair. Have fun with Claudia, I say as she heads for the door. I will. Don't wait up. The moment her car disappears down our street, I call Derek. Feel like doing some surveillance work? I ask. Depends. What kind of surveillance? The kind that involves expensive hotels and cheating wives. Derek arrives an hour later with coffee and his old police scanner. We drive to the boutique hotel Jessica mentioned, a sleek glass tower downtown that caters to people with more money than sense. There, Derek says, pointing to the valet stand. Your wife's BMW. We park across the street and wait. At 8:30, Jessica emerges from the hotel wearing a dress I've never seen before. She's laughing at something the man beside her is saying. Rico Valdez looks exactly like his photos. Tall, dark, handsome in an obvious way. He's wearing a suit that probably cost more than he makes in a month, and he moves with the confidence of someone who's never had to worry about money. They get into a red Ferrari that's definitely a rental and speed off toward the expensive part of town. Fancy, Derek observes. It's all borrowed. The car, the clothes, probably the hotel room. He's broke. And your wife doesn't know? My wife doesn't want to know. She wants the fantasy. We follow them to an exclusive restaurant where they're seated at a prime table. Through the window, I watch Jessica lean across the table to feed Rico a bite of her dessert. She's animated, laughing, touching his hand constantly. She looks like a woman in love, or at least in lust. So what's the plan? Derek asks. I'm still working on that. Saturday morning, I'm in my garage working on my motorcycle when Jessica calls. Hi, honey. Just wanted to check in. We're about to head to the spa for the day. In the background, I can hear traffic and what sounds like a hotel room door closing. Sounds relaxing, I say. Very. The treatments here are supposed to be amazing, very hands-on. I'm sure they are. I should go. Claudia's waiting. Give her my best. I hang up and immediately check the tracking app I installed on her phone. She's not at a spa. She's at Rico's apartment building, a luxury high-rise that he definitely can't afford. I spend the weekend monitoring their movements and communications. They go shopping with my credit card, eat at expensive restaurants, and spend long hours in Rico's apartment. Jessica posts carefully curated photos to her social media, maintaining the fiction of a girl's weekend while living out her affair fantasy. Sunday evening, she comes home glowing and satisfied. How was the spa? I ask. Incredible. I feel like a new woman. You look fantastic. I feel fantastic. We should definitely make this a regular thing. That night, she's more passionate than she's been in months, but I can tell she's thinking about someone else. She closes her eyes and whispers things she's never said to me before. It's like sleeping with a stranger wearing my wife's face. Monday morning, I make a decision. I call in sick to work and drive to Rico's car dealership. Valdez Luxury Motors is located in a strip mall between a nail salon and a tax preparation office. Not exactly the high-end showroom his social media suggests. The lot is full of expensive cars, but they all look slightly used. The office is small and cramped, with cheap furniture trying to look expensive. Rico is there wearing jeans and a polo shirt, looking much less impressive than he did in his suit. He's on the phone, speaking rapid Spanish to someone who's clearly not happy with him. I park across the street and watch. Over the next 2 hours, I see 3 different people come to the lot looking angry and leaving empty-handed. One woman actually throws something at Rico before storming off. This isn't a successful business. It's a front operation, probably for money laundering or fraud. Rico isn't a successful entrepreneur. He's a criminal who's good at playing dress up. My wife is having an affair with a broke con artist. That evening, Jessica announces she's going out with Claudia again. 2 nights in 1 week? I ask. She's going through a rough time. Divorce stuff. I'm just being a good friend. Of course you are. She leaves wearing another new outfit and enough perfume to choke a horse. I give her a 10-minute head start, then follow. She drives straight to Rico's apartment building. I park in the garage across the street and wait. They emerge an hour later, Rico now dressed in his expensive costume. They get into his Ferrari and head downtown to another overpriced restaurant. I'm about to leave when my phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. She's not the only one he's seeing. I stare at the message, then type back, "Who is this?" Someone who knows what Rico Valdez really is. Meet me at Murphy's in an hour if you want to know the truth. I drive to Murphy's with my mind racing. Derek isn't there yet, so I grab a corner booth and wait. At exactly 9 o'clock, a woman walks in and looks around nervously. She's about 30, attractive in a tired way, wearing clothes that used to be expensive. She spots me immediately and walks over. "David Morrison?" she asks. "That's me." She sits down across from me. "I'm Maria Santos. I used to be engaged to Rico Valdez." "Used to be?" "Until I found out he was running the same game on 3 other women, including your wife." She pulls out her phone and shows me photos of Rico with different women at expensive restaurants and hotels. Some of the locations look familiar from Jessica's social media posts. "He targets married women with money," Maria explains. "Makes them feel special and exciting. Convinces them they deserve better than their boring husbands. Then he drains them dry." "How long has this been going on?" "With your wife? About 6 months. She's not his first married target, and she won't be his last." 6 months. Jessica's been lying to me for 6 months. "Why are you telling me this?" I ask. "Because he destroyed my life and I want him to pay for it. But I can't do it alone." Maria tells me about Rico's operation. He uses dating apps and social media to target wealthy women, particularly those who seem unhappy or neglected. He studies their social media profiles, learns their interests and insecurities, then crafts the perfect persona to attract them. "He told me he was a successful businessman," Maria says, "showed me fake financial statements, took me to expensive places, made me feel like I was living in a fairy tale. I gave him $50,000 to invest in his business. And he spent it on clothes and cars and impressing the next mark. When I found out, he disappeared. Changed his number, moved apartments, blocked me on everything. But he came back. He always comes back. This is his territory. He knows the wealthy neighborhoods, the expensive restaurants, the places where lonely rich women go to feel important." I study Maria's face. She's telling the truth, but there's something else. Something she's not saying. "What do you want from me?" I ask. "Help me destroy him. You have resources I don't have, money, connections, skills. Together we can make sure he never hurts anyone else." "And what do I get out of it?" "Revenge on the man who stole your wife, and evidence of everything Jessica has been doing." She slides a flash drive across the table. Photos, videos, text messages, financial records, everything you need to know about your wife's affair. I pocket the drive without looking at it. "I'll be in touch," I tell her. That night, I sit in my garage with a beer and plug the flash drive into my laptop. What I see makes me understand that my marriage isn't just over. It never really existed. The photos and videos show Jessica and Rico in compromising positions at hotels, restaurants, and his apartment. But it's the text messages that really tell the story. Jessica isn't just having an affair. She's planning to leave me for Rico. They've discussed divorce strategies, asset division, and how to maximize her settlement. She's been consulting with Claudia about the best way to take me for everything I'm worth. In one particularly damning exchange, Jessica writes, "David's so pathetic. He has no idea what's coming. By the time I'm done, he'll be lucky to keep his precious garage." Rico responds, "Don't worry, baby. Once you're free, we'll be living the life we deserve. Your husband's money will set us up perfectly." I close the laptop and sit in the dark, processing what I've learned. My wife has been planning to destroy me for months, using my own money to fund her affair and legal strategy. Well, 2 can play that game. Tuesday morning, I implement phase 1 of my response plan. I call the credit card company and report the platinum card as potentially compromised, requesting an immediate freeze and investigation of all recent charges. We show approximately 47,000 in charges over the past 2 weeks, the representative tells me. Would you like us to dispute these transactions? All of them, I confirm. I didn't authorize any of those purchases. Within hours, Jessica's financial lifeline is cut off. Her card is declined at lunch, and she calls me in a panic. David, there's something wrong with the credit card? It's not working? Really? That's strange. Let me call them. I pretend to spend 20 minutes on hold with customer service while Jessica paces around the kitchen, clearly agitated. They say there's been suspicious activity, I finally tell her. They've frozen the account pending an investigation. Suspicious activity? What kind of suspicious activity? Large purchases in unusual patterns. They think someone might have cloned the card. Jessica's face goes pale. If the credit card company investigates those charges, they'll discover her affair. How long will the investigation take? She asks. Could be weeks, maybe months. Months? Her voice cracks slightly. Don't worry, babe, we'll get through this. I can increase the limit on our regular cards if you need anything. But our regular cards have much lower limits and require my approval for large purchases. Jessica's shopping spree days are over. That evening, she claims she's going to book club with Claudia. I follow her to Rico's apartment, where they have what looks like an intense conversation in his lobby. Through the glass doors, I can see Jessica gesturing frantically while Rico tries to calm her down. They don't go out to dinner. Instead, they disappear into his apartment for 2 hours. When Jessica emerges, she looks upset and disheveled. I beat her home and pretend to be working when she walks in. How was book club? I ask. Fine, she snaps, then immediately softens her tone. Sorry, I'm just tired. Claudia's drama is exhausting. What's going on with her? Oh, divorce stuff. Her husband is being difficult about money. That's tough. Good thing she has you for support. Jessica nods and disappears upstairs. I hear the shower running for a long time. Wednesday morning, I call Derek. Remember that favor you owe me? I ask. Which one? The big one, from when your business was about to go under and I co-signed that loan. Derek sighs. What do you need? I need you to repossess my wife's car. Dave, that's not how repo works. You can't just... The BMW is in my name. I'm behind on payments. I want it repossessed from the country club parking lot during the charity luncheon tomorrow. Jesus, Dave. You sure about this? I've never been more sure of anything. Thursday afternoon, Jessica gets dressed for the monthly charity luncheon, an event where rich women compete to see who can spend the most money on good causes while gossiping about their neighbors. You look beautiful, I tell her as she checks her makeup one final time. Thank you. I should be home by 4. Take your time. Enjoy yourself. She kisses my cheek and heads for the garage. I wait until I hear her car start, then call Derek. She just left. BMW's heading your way. This is insane, but okay, we'll be there. An hour later, Derek calls back. It's done. But Dave, you should know. She made a scene. A real scene. There were maybe 50 women watching, and half of them were recording with their phones. Good. She kept screaming that there had been a mistake, that her husband would never do this to her. She actually tried to physically stop us from hooking up the car, and security had to escort her inside while we finished the job. It was brutal, man. I almost felt sorry for her. Don't. That evening, Jessica comes home in an Uber, her face blotchy from crying and her designer dress wrinkled. How could you do this to me? She demands the moment she walks in. Do what? Don't play dumb, David. You had my car repossessed at the charity luncheon in front of everyone. I look up from my laptop with carefully crafted confusion. What are you talking about? My BMW. It's gone. Some repo company took it while I was inside. That's impossible. We're current on all our payments. Then why is my car gone? I pull up our banking website and frown at the screen. Oh no, Jess, look at this. She leans over my shoulder to see the payment history. I've doctored the records to show missed payments going back 3 months. I don't understand, she says. The automatic payments come from the account linked to that credit card, the one that got frozen. Jessica stares at the screen, her face cycling through confusion, anger, and panic. So what do we do? She asks. I'll call them tomorrow. Try to work something out. In the meantime, you can use my car if you need to go anywhere. My car is a 10-year-old Honda Civic that I keep for sentimental reasons. Jessica looks like I've suggested she ride a bicycle. This is a nightmare, she mutters. It's just temporary, babe. We'll get it sorted out. But we both know it's not temporary. Jessica's social standing is built on appearances, and showing up to events in a decade-old Honda is social self-destruction. Friday morning, Jessica calls in sick to her part-time job at a high-end PR firm. She spends the day on the phone with credit card companies and banks, trying to understand what happened to our finances. I listen from my office as she grows increasingly frustrated. The credit freeze has created a cascade of problems. Automatic payments are bouncing, credit scores are dropping, and financial institutions are treating us like high-risk customers. David, she calls from the kitchen, can you come here for a minute? I find her surrounded by financial statements and bills, looking overwhelmed. I've been going through our accounts, she says. Something's not right. The numbers don't add up. What do you mean? The credit card charges? $47,000 in 2 weeks? That's impossible. I sit down across from her and examine the statements. These charges are all from places you shop. Nordstrom, that boutique you like, the spa. But not this much. I'm not stupid, David. I know how much I spend. Maybe someone cloned your card, used it while you were shopping. Then why would the credit card company freeze the account? If it was fraud, they'd just reverse the charges. Jessica is smarter than I gave her credit for. She's starting to piece together the truth. I don't know, Jess. Maybe we should hire a financial advisor to help us figure this out. Maybe we should hire a lawyer. That afternoon, Jessica drives my Honda to Rico's apartment. I follow at a distance, watching as she parks in the visitor section and hurries inside. She stays for 3 hours. When she comes out, she's clearly been crying. Rico walks her to the car, and they have an animated conversation in the parking lot. He keeps looking around nervously, like he's worried about being watched. He should be. That evening, Jessica is quiet during dinner. She picks at her food and stares out the window, lost in thought. Everything okay? I ask. Just thinking about our financial situation. It's more serious than I realized. We'll figure it out. We always do. Do we? Because it feels like everything's falling apart. It's just a rough patch, Jess. Every marriage goes through them. She looks at me then. Really looks at me, like she's seeing me for the first time in years. When did we stop talking to each other? She asks. What do you mean? I mean really talking about important things, about what we want, what we're afraid of, what makes us happy. It's a good question. When did we stop being partners and become strangers sharing a house? I don't know, I admit, but it's not too late to start again. Isn't it? Saturday morning, Jessica announces she's going shopping with Claudia. With what money? I ask. Claudia offered to lend me her credit card, just for essentials. That's generous of her. She's a good friend. After Jessica leaves, I call Maria Santos. How's your investigation going? She asks. Better than expected. Rico's getting desperate. My wife's money has dried up and he's starting to panic. Good. Desperate men make mistakes. I need you to do something for me. Can you contact the other women Rico scammed? I want them to know he's still operating. What's the plan? I'm going to destroy him publicly, but I need witnesses. Consider it done. Sunday evening, Jessica comes home with a single shopping bag from Target. She's traded designer boutiques for discount retail, and she's not handling the transition well. Find everything you needed? I ask. It's fine, she says, but her voice suggests otherwise. That night, she spends hours on her phone, texting furiously. I check the logs later and see she's been in constant communication with both Rico and Claudia. The tone of the messages has shifted from playful to desperate. Rico is pressuring her to access more money. Claudia is advising her to accelerate divorce proceedings. Jessica is caught between them, trying to maintain relationships that are both built on lies. Monday morning, I implement phase 2 of my plan. I create anonymous social media accounts and begin posting Rico's information on local community boards and women's safety groups. Photos of him with different women, details about his fake business, warnings about his methods. Within hours, the posts are being shared and commented on. Women start coming forward with their own stories about Rico Valdez and his luxury lifestyle scam. By Tuesday, Rico's social media accounts are flooded with angry comments from former victims. His carefully crafted image is crumbling in real time. Wednesday evening, Jessica comes home looking shaken. Everything okay? I ask. Rico's been getting harassed online. Someone's posting lies about him, trying to ruin his reputation. That's terrible. What kind of lies? Calling him a con artist, saying he scams women for money. It's completely unfair. Maybe there's some truth to it. Jessica's head snaps up. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing. Just that these things don't usually come from nowhere. Rico's a successful businessman. He doesn't need to scam anyone. If you say so. But I can see doubt creeping into her eyes. The fantasy is starting to crack. Thursday morning, Maria calls with an update. I've got 6 women ready to go public with their stories about Rico. One of them lost her house because of him. Perfect. Are they willing to file police reports? Already done. Rico Valdez is about to have much bigger problems than bad social media reviews. What about Jessica? What about her? She's a victim too, in a way. Maria laughs, but there's no humor in it. Your wife chose to have an affair. She chose to lie to you, steal from you, and plan to divorce you. She's not a victim, David. She's an accomplice. Maria's right, of course. Jessica isn't some innocent woman led astray. She's an active participant in her own deception. Friday afternoon, the police arrest Rico Valdez on fraud charges. The story makes the local news, complete with photos of him being led away in handcuffs and interviews with his victims. Jessica watches the coverage in stunned silence, her face cycling through disbelief, anger, and humiliation. I can't believe this is happening, she whispers. I'm sorry, Jess. I know he was important to you. She looks at me sharply. What's that supposed to mean? Just that you seem to consider him a friend. It must be shocking to learn he's not who you thought he was. He's not. We weren't. She trails off, unable to finish the lie. Weren't what? Nothing. It doesn't matter now, but it does matter. Jessica's entire fantasy has collapsed, and she's left facing the reality of what she's done. That evening, she locks herself in our bedroom and makes phone calls. I can hear her crying through the door, having desperate conversations with Claudia about damage control and legal options. The walls are closing in, and Jessica is starting to realize she's trapped. Saturday morning, Jessica emerges from the bedroom looking like she hasn't slept. Her usually perfect appearance is disheveled, and there are dark circles under her eyes. We need to talk, she says. I look up from my coffee and newspaper. About what? About Rico? About the money? About everything. Okay, let's talk. She sits down across from me at the kitchen table, fidgeting with her wedding ring. I may have made some mistakes, she begins. What kind of mistakes? Financial mistakes with that credit card you gave me. The one that got frozen? Yes, I may have spent more than I should have. I set down my newspaper and give her my full attention. How much more? Maybe all of it. All 47,000? She nods miserably. I thought we could afford it. You said the limit was 50,000, and I figured you wouldn't have given it to me if we couldn't handle the payments. But Jessica, that money wasn't for shopping sprees. It was supposed to be for emergencies. I know that now. But at the time, I thought you wanted me to enjoy it. It's fascinating watching her construct this narrative where she's the victim of my generosity rather than the architect of her own deception. What exactly did you spend $47,000 on? I ask. Clothes, spa treatments, travel, lifestyle expenses. Travel? Where did you travel? The spa weekend and a few other trips. What other trips? Jessica realizes she's walking into dangerous territory. Just short trips. With Claudia? Where? The city, mostly. Nice hotels, good restaurants. I thought we deserved to treat ourselves. We? Claudia and I. I lean back in my chair, studying her face. She's lying, but she's not sure how much I know. Jessica, I need you to be completely honest with me. Is there anything else I should know about how you spent that money? She meets my eyes for a moment, then looks away. No, just what I told you. And you never spent any of that money on anyone else? No gifts, no loans, no shared expenses? No, of course not. So if I were to go through the credit card statements line by line, every charge would be for something you used yourself? Yes. I pull out my laptop and open the credit card account. Let's take a look together. Jessica's face goes pale, but she can't object without admitting she's been lying. Here's a charge for 2 first-class tickets to San Francisco, I say, turning the screen so she can see. Who was the second ticket for? Claudia. And this hotel charge for a penthouse suite? We wanted to splurge. This charge at a men's clothing store for $3,000? Jessica stares at the screen, trapped. That must be a mistake. A mistake? Or did you buy someone else expensive clothes? David, I can explain. And this charge at a jewelry store for a Rolex watch? Did you buy yourself a men's Rolex, Jessica? She starts crying, but they're tears of frustration rather than remorse. You don't understand, she says. It's complicated. Then help me understand. Who did you buy a Rolex for? It was a gift. For who? A friend. What friend? Someone who's been going through a hard time. I wanted to do something nice. Jessica, I need you to tell me the truth, right now. Who is this friend? She takes a shaky breath. His name is Rico. Rico Valdez, the man who was just arrested for fraud? He's not. The charges are false. He's being set up. By who? I don't know. Jealous ex-girlfriends, maybe? Business competitors? I close the laptop and look at her. Jessica, Rico Valdez is a con artist who targets wealthy women. He's been arrested for defrauding multiple victims out of hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's not true. It was on the news. There were interviews with his victims. The media gets things wrong all the time. So you think 6 different women are all lying about being scammed by the same man? I think Rico has enemies who want to destroy him. I stand up and walk to the window, looking out at our perfectly manicured suburban street. Jessica, I need to ask you something, and I need you to tell me the truth. Okay. Are you having an affair with Rico Valdez? The silence stretches between us like a chasm. When I turn around, Jessica is staring at her hands. Answer me, I say. It's not what you think, she whispers. What is it then? It's complicated. Complicated how? Rico makes me feel alive in a way I haven't felt in years. When I'm with him, I remember who I used to be before I became just someone's wife. So yes, you're having an affair. I'm having a relationship. While married to me. While married to someone who barely notices I exist. I notice you exist, Jessica. I've been noticing you exist for 8 years. No, you notice that I'm here. You notice that I keep the house nice and show up to your work events and play the perfect wife. But you don't see me. And Rico sees you? Rico sees me as a woman, not just a wife. He makes me feel beautiful and exciting and worth pursuing. For $47,000. It's not about the money, isn't it? Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like you paid a gigolo $50,000 to make you feel special. Jessica's face flushes with anger. That's not fair. What's not fair is you stealing from our marriage to fund your affair. I didn't steal anything. You gave me that credit card. I gave you a credit card for emergencies, not to finance your midlife crisis. This isn't a midlife crisis. This is me finally admitting that our marriage is dead. The words hang in the air between us. Finally, the truth. So, what do you want to do about it? I ask. I want a divorce. Okay. Okay? If that's what you want, then that's what we'll do. Jessica looks surprised by my calm response. She was probably expecting anger, pleading, or negotiation. I want to be fair about the division of assets, she says. I'm sure you do. I know I made mistakes with the credit card, but I think we can work something out. What did you have in mind? Well, I was thinking we could split everything 50-50, and I could pay back the credit card debt over time. All $47,000? Maybe we could consider it a loan against my share of the house. I almost laugh. She wants to divorce me, keep half of everything I've worked for, and have me forgive the money she spent on her affair. That's an interesting proposal, I say. I think it's fair. And what about Rico? Are you planning to continue your relationship with him? I don't know. That depends on what happens with his legal situation. His legal situation, where he's been charged with defrauding multiple women. Innocent until proven guilty, right? Sunday morning, Jessica moves into the guest bedroom. She spends the day on the phone with Claudia, presumably planning her legal strategy. I spend the day in my garage, working on my motorcycle, and thinking about everything that's happened. 8 years of marriage, and it's ending because my wife decided she'd rather be with a criminal who made her feel exciting. Monday morning, I call my own lawyer, not the family attorney Jessica and I used for our wills, but a divorce specialist Derek recommended. I need to protect myself, I tell him. My wife has been having an affair and spending marital assets on her lover. Do you have documentation? Everything, financial records, communications, photographic evidence? Good. In cases involving adultery and financial misconduct, the courts tend to be less generous in asset division. What should I expect? If you can prove she used marital funds to support her affair, she'll likely be responsible for paying that money back. Depending on the total amount, it could significantly impact her settlement. The total is around $50,000. That's substantial. Combined with the adultery, you're in a strong position. Tuesday afternoon, Jessica serves me with divorce papers. She's asking for half of everything: the house, my retirement accounts, my business assets, and alimony. I call my lawyer immediately. She's asking for the moon, he says after reviewing the documents. But don't worry, we'll file a counter petition that tells the real story. Wednesday morning, Jessica receives my counter petition. She's in the kitchen when the process server arrives, and I hear her gasp when she reads the documents. "David," she screams from the kitchen. "What is this?" I walk in to find her holding the papers with shaking hands. "It's my response to your divorce filing," I say calmly. "You're accusing me of adultery and financial misconduct. Because you committed adultery and financial misconduct. You can't prove any of this. Actually, I can. I have photographs, text messages, credit card records, and witness statements." Witness statements? Rico's other victims are very interested in helping me document his pattern of behavior. Apparently, targeting married women and convincing them to spend their husband's money is his specialty. Jessica sinks into a chair, the papers scattered around her. "This will ruin me," she whispers. "You ruined yourself, Jessica. I'm just documenting it. People will find out. Everyone will know. Yes, they will. My job, my reputation, my social standing. Everything will be destroyed. Should have thought of that before you decided to have an affair." She looks up at me with something like hatred. "You're enjoying this, aren't you?" "I'm not enjoying it, but I'm not going to let you destroy me financially just because you decided to blow up our marriage. I never wanted to hurt you. But you did hurt me. You lied to me for months, stole from me, and planned to leave me for a criminal. The fact that you didn't want to hurt me doesn't change the fact that you did." Thursday morning, Jessica calls in sick to work. She spends the day meeting with Claudia, trying to figure out how to minimize the damage from my counter petition. I spend the day at work, focusing on a major security project and trying to pretend my personal life isn't imploding. That evening, Jessica corners me in my office. "I want to make a deal," she says. "What kind of deal?" "I'll admit to the affair and agree to pay back the credit card debt. In exchange, you don't contest the divorce and we split the remaining assets 50-50. "No." "Why not?" "Because you don't get to cheat on me, steal from me, and then negotiate from a position of strength." "So what do you want?" "I want you to face the consequences of your choices, which are a public divorce trial where all of your dirty laundry gets aired in open court, financial responsibility for every penny you spent on your affair, and whatever the judge decides is fair for someone who violated their marriage vows and stole marital assets." Jessica stares at me like she's seeing a stranger. "When did you become so cold?" she asks. "When I found out my wife was sleeping with a con artist with my money." Friday afternoon, I get a call from my lawyer. "Jessica's attorney wants to meet," he says. "They're ready to negotiate." "What changed?" "Probably the realization that going to trial would be a disaster for her. Adultery cases get media attention, especially when there's a criminal defendant involved." Set up the meeting. Saturday morning, we meet at my lawyer's office. Jessica looks like she's aged 5 years in the past week. Claudia is with her, wearing her professional mask but clearly uncomfortable. "My client is prepared to make a reasonable settlement offer," Claudia begins. "We're listening," my lawyer replies. "Jessica will accept responsibility for the credit card debt and agree to a 60-40 split of remaining assets in David's favor." "Not enough," my lawyer says immediately. "What do you want?" Claudia asks. "Full reimbursement of the credit card debt. Jessica keeps her personal belongings and her car when we get it back, and David keeps everything else." "That's ridiculous," Claudia snaps. "She'd be left with nothing." "She chose to have an affair," my lawyer replies calmly. "Actions have consequences." "We'll never agree to that." "Then we'll see you in court." As we're leaving, Jessica grabs my arm. "David, please, can't we work something out? For the sake of what we used to have?" I look at her hand on my arm, then at her face. For a moment, I see the woman I married 8 years ago before she became obsessed with status and appearances. "What we used to have died the moment you decided Rico Valdez was more important than our marriage," I tell her. "I made a mistake. You made a choice. Now you get to live with it.